Everyone, it's Kasia from Tarot Map, and this is August favorites, one of those kind of easy and pleasant videos to make, since I'm still a little bit in my creative rut, and I think now with Mars moving direct and it's gaining on speed every day, it's changed from its retrograding motion and stationary status into the forward motion now. So I'm hoping that despite the fact that some other planets are still in retrograding mode, but most of the personal planets, so the planets that's quite close to us, not so generational, they are forward now, and hopefully we can feel, because I know from working with people and reading for people that a lot of us have felt that kind of backwards motion in our lives when things didn't seem to be going forward, when we were maybe frustrated or felt stuck or felt like doesn't matter what we do, it's just not going on. And right now this energy starts to shift. So for Sagittarians and fire signs, I think as soon as Jupiter will move into Sagittarius, which is going to happen in November or end of, I think it's November, then we will feel even more inspired to go and be more jovial and optimistic. Right now, somehow, I don't really feel it much. August for me was a weird month. I kind of felt like a hermit, really, and hermit was one of my stalker cards. I had also some, adventures, and it's not that it was bad, but my personal kind of sense of happiness and joy and kind of appreciation wasn't really very much above zero. So it wasn't like the most exciting month for me when it comes to my psychological well-being. And in this video I just want to probably show you some decks, because that's what I do best. I love decks. I still feel inspired when I look at tarot. I use tarot every day. It's, I don't have to convince anyone that this is part of my life. And I think tarot helps me a lot. I had some personal stuff going on, and seriously, pulling tarot cards, it just gives me this like feedback that I don't usually admit to myself. So it's a perfect mirror. And the way I think using tarot for yourself is one of those things that when I read for other people, sometimes I also use books or booklets, from tarot decks. But for myself, I kind of, they speak differently to me. But then I also like to use external info to just gain and learn a little bit more, because sometimes when we read for ourselves, we're still in the, kind of safe spots that we don't want to cross, and sometimes getting some external information from a book, and that's why we also go to other readers, I think, to get some other input rather than our own understanding of the cards. It helps a lot. So if you haven't played with tarot cards yet, please do. And to start with my August favorites, I think rather than doing it like, oh, I like this deck and this deck, because I have a lot of decks and I use a lot of decks, and usually during one day I use a few decks. I usually don't pull less than 3 cards, but usually from 2 decks or 3 decks, mix it with oracles. So it's I'm quite a baroque kind of style. I don't shy from tarot decks. But I thought I'm going to show you decks that I used and keep using a lot in tarot readings. In August especially, I've used heaps of times tarot, Spolia tarot. And somebody asked me on IG, I think, how I use the extra cards, because this deck comes with different cards on top of the regular tarot deck. So you have the 78 tarot cards, and I did a flip through this deck, so you can see it. I will link it below. But on top of that, we have elemental cards. So you have fire, earth, water, and air, and we also have zodiac cards. So you have Taurus, all the 12 signs of the zodiac. and somebody asked me, how do I use the extra cards? Actually, I had quite a few interesting experiences with clients using Spolia Tarot and using those extra cards. So usually when they come up in the reading, so if I pull cards for people and I get a zodiac card or an element card, I usually pull an extra card from the tarot on top of the zodiac card or element card. So I do notice what the zodiac card says, and because being an astrologer, I can also, you know, make up a whole story based on just the zodiac sign. But then if you're not an astrologer and you get these two cards, for example, you know, Chariot loves to move forward. This is Mars. Chariot is also considered in traditional tarot as, you know, you have to unite within yourself where you want to go, because that's when you're going to move fast. If you're unsure, one horse or one swan in this case will fly this way and the black one will fly the other way, and your movement forward will be slowed down, you know. So really reuniting in yourself both sides and really knowing where you want to go really helps with moving forward. We know that Libra is a little bit undecisive. Libra likes to weigh pros and cons. It likes to not upset the status quo. It's very diplomatic. It feels sometimes uncomfortable when it has to make a decision when you know that it might hurt someone, or it's good for you but not so good for somebody else. And in some situations we have to make those decisions. So when we get these two cards, this Libra card can show that, you know, if you're feeling a little bit indecisive, this is going to stop you from moving forward. So that's how I sometimes connect it. So I usually pull another card on top of the zodiac card, but also you can use the zodiac cards as indication of timing. So for example, that something can happen around Libra time, so like October, you know, September, October, or that, for example, there is a person in somebody's life when there might be an influence from this particular sign, or at least person who maybe it's not necessarily a Libran, but it has certain qualities that are connected to that sign. So during the readings, very often people were going, oh, I know that Sagittarius, you know, and oh, I know who this Libra is about, or this is my sister, this is something. So I wouldn't even kind of come up with this idea, but people were reacting to the zodiac signs in a very active way, and they knew exactly which people this zodiac cards show and what's happening for them in this regard. So the same with element cards. You know, if I pull fire, I can speak a little bit about fire, but then I draw an extra card to just expand. Or, you know, if I get another fire card like Wands, let's say, because Wands for me is fire, then I know that this is something like, you know, the fire is building up, depends which card, and so on and so forth. So you can pull an extra card to the extra cards of Spolia Tarot. But this is an amazing deck, and I'm really enjoying reading with it. And it reads really well for me, and people like it because it's kind of pretty. So Spolia Tarot, definitely one of the cool tarot for readings and using it for readings. I also fell in love, if you watched my IG, with the Saki Saki Tarot, and it's by Monica Cleos, and it's an artistic deck. These are the backs. It has this crazy weirdness and sense of humor about it. So I'm not using it for every client, because I know that some people, you know, when they come with more serious issues, like, I'm not going to come up with this deck. It just doesn't suit the vibe. But sometimes, you know, when you break the ice, and sometimes when you want to maybe make somebody a little bit less attached to the drama or whatever is going on in their lives, pulling out this deck is really cool, because people just smile and, you know, it's like breaking the ice. So I love to use this deck also at times, and I took it traveling with me. It makes me smile. I really like those quirky decks like this Saki Saki Tarot, like Kitty Kahane or Holy Simple Tarot. They're beautiful decks. So this one as well was one of often used decks in August. Another one that I really found surprising and quite like fun to play with is the Hippie Tarot, and this one is by far the simplest kind of artwork from the decks that I'm going to show today, but it speaks volumes just because maybe of the simplicity. I also did a flip through of this deck, so I'm going to link it below in the description box. And I compare it in this flip through to kind of a little bit like reading Lenormand, just because it's easy to know what's on the card. It's one of those decks that it's bold, colorful, and quite, you know, simple to see. That's that, that's that, that's that, that's that, you know, like you don't have to think 700 times or like go into the card and look for different details. It has a well-presented book as well with all the symbols that the creator Maria is using. So I really have fun using this deck, and I was surprised. It really reads really well. I haven't used it much for clients yet, just because it's quite a new deck, but I've used it a lot for myself, not only for daily draws, but a lot of different spreads, and I was trying things out, and I think the time is going to come, which I'm going to use for people as well. I also usually, for my readings, it's points depends on the mood, because sometimes I really go only for Marseille, but in August I think I did use a lot of this deck, so Visconti's Forza. Maybe I just go with it. Even today I have used it for a client reading, and it's such a just beautiful deck, but because the cards are quite huge, I'm not really, you know, using it for like big spreads. I usually do like 5-card spread or 3-card spread, and that's fine, because you can always save volumes about this. And I read it exactly like Marseille. So if I have a certain type of question, if the client has a question, then I read it. Sometimes like open reading with a question, but most of the times just I kind of help myself with traditional knowledge of tarot, so I have meanings attached to the cards. But I love adding to Marseille readings this open reading style. When I react on the spot, I forget what the cards mean, and I react to the spot, to the shapes, to the elements, to how they connect together, you know, like it looks like, for example, Death grabbed one of those sticks and it's not so straight anymore. You know, you can make a lot of stories. Like today I had this 3 and 4 of cups, and it felt like, you know, there were 3 people, but there might be 4 people, and we were talking with a client about maybe falling pregnant. So that was quite interesting how the cards can show different different issues depending on how you read them. So I Tarocchi de Visconti by Il Meneghello. This is the huge edition, and it's gorgeous. It's really beautiful. And then in other times, and that happened in August too. I haven't done that many readings in August, to be honest, but I've done enough to use a few decks and switch between systems. As we know, holidays usually and summer is not the best time for readings, but it's good to have a break too. But I use also some Rider-Waite-Smith, and often I use Carol Hetzer's decks. So this is Elemental Rainbows, yeah, I just like the feel, not the feel maybe of the cards so much, because they're heavily laminated and very flexible, very kind of unusual paper, not even paper, because they feel plasticky, unusual feel for the cards compared to other decks. But I love the feel of the deck, and people react well to Rider-Waite-Smith because they very expressive, the cards, and it's easy to connect cards together because the symbols repeat. It's a deck that it's created also like Tarot de Marseille, when, you know, cards are connected with one another. So this deck as well. Then for my personal kind of fun, I was using also Starchild Tarot and the Work Your Light Oracle with Sacred Creators Oracle, because they just go together so well. So Starchild Tarot, I have this edition with the white borders because I preferred it. And now I'm waiting for the Moonchild Tarot. I'm curious how it's going to be. It looks amazing online. I have pre-ordered from a Little Red Tarot, so we'll see when we get the deck. I've seen that some of the people online already were getting shipping notifications, so we'll see how long Europe will take. So Starchild is really cool for... I actually like this deck now. You know how I had a long battle with Starchild. And then Work Your Light Oracle, also with artwork from Daniel Noel. And I love, you know, I love these two decks together because it's the same style and similar vibe, you know, this kind of cosmic, starseedy, Akashic Records kind of vibe. So you have to be in the mood for that. But in August I have been in the mood, especially recently. And then Sacred Creators Oracle by Chris Ann. It's one of my favorite decks to use with tarot, and it just goes very well with these decks too because of this pastel-y kind of feel. I also did quite a lot of chakra readings this month, and it's not that I tried to do them, like somehow it just happened, like people kind of wanted chakra readings and it just happened. So I used also those chakra cards, Chakra Arcana Tarot by Carol Hetzer, and sometimes I just use these cards. There's also Chakras and Major Arcana of Tarot attached to this deck, so I've used this deck quite a lot with this little booklet from Carol. And I also used Triple Goddess Tarot, which also is a kind of a chakra deck with Major Arcana. There's this big book for it, and there is also, so there is this chakra cards for each seven chakras. Beautiful artwork. I really like using these cards as prompts, you know, for the chakra energy. And then what they did, they used, for example, the archetypes of Major Arcana. So this is Blossoming Spirit. It's for Hierophant. I love this card, so gorgeous. The Emperor, for example, is the Path of Balance. Devil is Karmic Imprints, which is very fitting. The Moon is Birth of the Moon. It's a very feminine, very kind of round deck in a way. Seated Angel Flying, it's for Temperance. And there is a few cards that goes, I think, to 24 or 25, Infinite Potential. So it's a little bit more than just Major Arcana. But yeah, there's a lot of... So the Fool is Flying into Spring. And Death is for Passage. Also gorgeous. World is for Awakened Aphrodite. And in the book there is some information on the chakra, on the goddess, and so on. So it's quite an interesting connection. So I've been using this also quite a lot in the readings. And from oracle decks, I've used this Goddess Oracle Hips on top of, you know, the Wistar Oracle and the Red Seeds Oracle, which I use all the time. So Changing Woman, like this kind of oracle is gorgeous. I really like using it, and it has a cool booklet with beautiful poems for each of the goddesses, rituals, and the meaning, what can, you know, what the card kind of means practically in your life when you pull the goddess. So yeah, I love this, and I noticed that my clients really love this oracle too. I'm actually doing those birthday readings now. Somebody just purchased one from my Etsy shop, and I'm going to mix a lot of those decks. And also the Plant and Plant Alley cards by Lisa McLaughlin. I also love this oracle, and it seems to be really kind of spot on for people, so I use it very often. And on top of it, you know, it's also, you can speak about plants if you know a bit more about plants. So Plant Alley cards. I'm a bit aware of the time, but you know, it's 20 minutes. What's 20 minutes in eternity? The other two oracles that I always use, I have to show you. Ugh. This is the Red Seed Oracle by Linda Hill. Love, love. And We Star Oracle by Trisha Murray, and they both amazing. Another thing that I wanted to just show you is this information also, you know, like Chris Ann and Becca. I've done a few months ago, I've done this Manifest Being Seen, kind of 1 month course on about social media. So how to make stories, how to market yourself a little bit, how to put like different technical stuff, how to use IG. And because it changes quickly, we got invited to do it. They organizing another round of this course on the 4th of September. It's going to start, and when you do this as the first 118 people, you get the Manifest Being Seen Oracle deck. It's a 50 card oracle, and it's made by Chris Ann and Becca Lee, and two amazing ladies. And I actually learned quite a lot. I know that probably you can go and dig into all this information and find it online if you want to, but I just love the kind of how they combine stuff. They combine technical stuff with spiritual stuff. There were some meditation, there were some rituals, and then the deck, which is only available when you do the course, so that's quite cool. And it's a deck created to help you with prompts, to help you kind of when you don't feel so inspired, to help you organize yourself and to put something up on social media. In this course, they also teach how to, you know, encourage you that it's better posted than not posted. You know, better imperfect than not posted. So like if you're shy, if you don't know how to use social media, you would like to use them a bit more, find some more inspiration through this, I highly recommend this course because it was really fun, and there's quite a big like a lot of people are doing it, and then we get in touch, we have a special group. So if you wanted to do this course and you found out about this course from me, I am an affiliate, so I will also get some rewards if you sign up via the link I provide below. And you can find more information when you click on the link. There is all this description what the course is about. If you have any questions, you can ask me definitely, but probably best to ask Chris Ann and Becca. I will link all their website and information below. But if you use my link, there is a win-win situation, because I win and you win and they win, 3 win. But yeah, I love this oracle. It's pretty cool. So I was excited that they offer it for free. We just had to pay for postage, but like $10 from Canada to Europe, so not much. So this is highly recommended. Also, I wanted to give you some more news about the Urban Apothecary or Urban Oasis Apothecary, which I won this tinctures from Kyla. And I have to say, this deep sleep and pitta fires, this is really good. I don't have issues with sleeping, so maybe, you know, for me it just works really relaxing, and I got quite a lot of dreams when I'm taking this. I feel more relaxed, and my sleep seems to be a better quality when I wake up in the morning. And the pitta fires help. I take them in the morning before breakfast, and I don't get so much kind of gases and stuff. I don't know, do you speak about it publicly on YouTube? Sorry, but you know, we all humans, so whatever. This is my ancestral little ancestral diary. I'm still continuing my ancestral work, but it's slowed down, which I'm kind of taking as a natural, you know, flow. I'm not pushing it, and I'm still reading The Memory Code by Lynn Kelly, which is a very interesting book. And that's it, I think. That's pretty long video for August favorites, but I hope you enjoyed it, and as always, I hope it's inspiring. So I'd love to hear your comments, and just, yeah, if you feel uninspired as well, just write it down there so I don't feel lonely. But anyway, nice to connect, guys, and I speak to you soon. Bye.